The diamond in your ring will lose about half its value the moment you walk out of the store. Not because it's damaged, not because it's fake, but because of what happened in 1947. That year, an advertising copywriter with no background in diamonds wrote 11 words that would quietly control how billions of people spend their money for the next 80 years. She wasn't describing something rare. She was inventing the idea that it was. This is the insane reason diamonds became a trillion-dollar illusion. In the late 1800s, a British businessman named Cecil Rhodes bought up diamond mines across southern Africa, until one company, De Beers, controlled almost the entire world's supply. A diamond, it turns out, isn't actually that hard to find. What's hard is controlling how many of them reach the public at once. And for most of the 20th century, De Beers did exactly that, running what amounted to a single company cartel. That company decided how many diamonds the world was allowed to see, not how many existed underground, but how many were released to market in any given year. When demand dropped, they didn't lower prices. They locked the extra diamonds in a vault in London and waited, sometimes for years, until the market could absorb them without the price moving. It worked for decades, without most buyers ever knowing who was setting the rhythm. But by the 1930s, the Great Depression had crushed diamond sales anyway, and no amount of supply control could fix a problem that simple. People had simply stopped wanting to buy diamonds at all. De Beers needed something the mines alone could never give them, a reason people would want one in the first place. Myth number 1. Diamonds are rare. Geologically, they aren't. Gem-quality diamonds come out of the ground by the truckload. And by some estimates, more rough diamonds have been mined in the last few decades alone than in all of human history before that. What's actually rare is a market where one company controls how many of them you're ever allowed to see at once. For most of the last century, that company was De Beers, and the scarcity you paid for wasn't a fact of nature. It was a business decision, made on purpose, in a vault, by people whose entire income depended on you never finding out. Myth number 2. The diamond engagement ring is an ancient tradition. It isn't. Before the late 1930s, most American engagements didn't involve a diamond at all. By some estimates, fewer than 1 in 5 brides received one. The expectation you know today that a proposal without a diamond somehow isn't a real proposal didn't exist yet. It had to be built, deliberately, from nothing. And building it became De Beers' entire strategy for the rest of the century. In 1938, De Beers hired the Ayer advertising agency to fix a sales problem money alone couldn't solve. Their solution wasn't a discount, it was culture. Ayer placed diamonds in Hollywood films so audiences would see stars propose with them. They briefed magazine editors and fashion writers to treat diamond rings as an assumed detail of any engagement story, not a luxury choice. They trained jewelers to talk nervous customers into bigger stones than they'd planned on buying. In 1947, a copywriter named Francis Geraghty, finishing an ad late one night, wrote the line that would close every De Beers ad for the rest of the century. "A diamond is forever." The same campaign invented another detail you've probably heard repeated as tradition. A man should spend roughly a month's salary on the ring, a number with no history behind it at all. It was an advertising benchmark, invented in a conference room, and later ads simply raised it to 2 months, then 3, each time with no more justification than the last. Myth number 3. A diamond holds its value. In practice, most engagement diamonds lose a large share of their price the moment they leave the store, commonly reported at somewhere around half their retail cost, sometimes more. Walk into a pawn shop with a diamond you paid retail for, and you'll usually hear an offer that sounds almost insulting. There's no unified public market to resell one on, and for most of De Beers' history, that wasn't an accident. A real, transparent resale market would have exposed the markup on every stone still being sold as new, so one was never really allowed to form. Myth number 4. The price tag reflects what a diamond is actually worth. Lab-grown diamonds are chemically and visually identical to mined ones. Same carbon, same crystal structure, same sparkle. And even trained jewelers often can't tell them apart without specialized equipment. For years now, a lab-grown stone has sold for a fraction of the price of a mined one of the same size and quality. Sometimes a tenth or less. If two identical objects, indistinguishable to the naked eye, can carry wildly different price tags, the price was never really about the diamond. It was about the story stapled to it, where it came from, and how rare you'd been told it was. Myth number 5. 2 months' salary is a meaningful guideline for how much to spend. It's not a rule of thumb passed down through generations, and it's not tied to anything real. Not the cost of making a ring, not the strength of a relationship, not any tradition older than a few advertising campaigns. It's a number a diamond company invented, tested, adjusted upward whenever it felt like it, and printed in its own advertising until enough people repeated it back as common sense that nobody thought to ask where it came from. Here's what the diamond story actually teaches you, and it has nothing to do with diamonds. Real scarcity is a fact about the world. A limited number of something, set by nature or by hard physical limits, that no amount of advertising can change. Manufactured scarcity is a decision made by whoever controls the supply, and from the outside, for years or decades at a time, the two can look identical. The only way to tell them apart is to ask 2 questions. Who benefits from you believing this thing is rare? And would the price survive contact with an open, transparent market where anyone could buy or sell it freely? Diamonds failed that second test the moment lab-grown alternatives gave buyers a real comparison, and the price of a mined stone has been adjusting to that reality ever since. It's worth asking the same 2 questions about anything else in your life you've simply assumed is naturally worth what it costs. A copywriter's 11 words are still working. 80 years later, every time someone assumes a diamond has to be expensive because it's rare, or that a proposal needs one to count. If you want to see what else your brain quietly gets talked into, subscribe. Myth Brain is where the myths come to die.